Hello, I'm Wrabel, and you are watching Toasted.
Welcome to Amsterdam.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Amsterdam, I should say.
Yes, welcome back. Thank you.
Probably, musically speaking, maybe your second home now, because you've been here many times, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it here. It felt like I could even give directions almost. Not quite, but like almost, depending on where you want to go. Like if you want to go shopping, I probably could.
Hey, of course, here in Holland, we know you for your collaboration with Afrojack. I guess everybody talked about it a lot, but still, how did it happen? I mean, did he actually send you mail like, "I love this track and I want to redo it," or was it like a business setup? How did it work?
It was, a lot of it was like kind of the behind the scenes, because I was signed on Island Records at the time, and he was on Def Jam, so it's like all in the family. So they were playing him kind of new signings, and they played him 10 feet tall. And then he emailed me and was like, I love this song. They played it for me. I heard it. Like, how he described it to me was so cool. He said he heard like the final product as he was listening to like the really slow, like 6-minute long version of it, which I thought was really cool. And then it was just emails back and forth. And he was, I want to say he was playing it at festivals within like a week of asking, like, can I work on this? Which for me was insane.
I mean, but don't you? I mean, why is it insane? For a lot of people, it sounds really natural, of course. But if you have any knowledge about the music industry, you know it is insane, right?
Yeah, it's insane on a business level because of how fast it happened. And then also for me, it was my first song that I had out. So it was this song that I had written 2 years prior that was really special to me and was one of the ones I was holding pretty close. Because I was writing for, I had other songs with other artists and stuff like that, but that was one I was holding really close. And to have, I was such a huge fan of him before that, and now even more so.
But I can imagine if you listen to that music and you hear your song being changed in that way, that you, as a musician, would probably, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, would approach all your songwriting like that and go like, well, if Afrojack can make it into this, then probably I can do it too.
Yeah, it's definitely changed the way I write a bit, I think. And because it's almost like you're writing for another artist, but not really. I mean, being the featured artist, it's still I'm very connected to it. I just had another song out with a DJ Marshmello, which was a similar kind of thing. It was a special song that I was holding on to, and then he heard it, and he was like, wait a second. And I was like, wait a second. And then we worked together, and kind of it's become this whole other thing now. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and the strange thing is that your voice, which is the same voice, works completely different when put on a dance record.
Right. Which is, it's fun for me because my music is so, I'm used to playing like in a little basement, like in New York with like 60 people and everyone's crying and there's a grand piano and like candles. So from going from that to playing like Ultra or like Z80E, like I think we played 2 years in a row or something like that. And it's like,
Did you join him on stage, actually? Yeah.
at Heineken Music Hall, we played. It was the first time I met him in real life. Was the night of the show where they also filmed the video, and then we did another year at the Ziggo Dome, and it was just like, for me, I'm again playing for like everyone's crying with there's candles to like the Ziggo Dome sold out, mental. It's very exciting and kind of frightening.
Talking about crying, of course, I delved into your history and read all about you and read interviews and listened to interviews with you. And somebody said, what can I expect to see you live? And you said, well, probably me crying.
Yeah, I've cried. I just went on my first. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. I just went on my first tour, and I cried. We played like 32 dates, and I probably cried at least 20 of them. It was my first tour, and like I get overwhelmed very easily, and I don't know. I feel like I'm not like an artist that separates. I don't have like a thing or like a bit or like an act. Sometimes it's like, oh, now you're like this. I'm on stage now, so I'm this. I don't do that. I don't know how to do that. So it's very much like it's just me, and now I'm on stage and I'm singing these songs. Some of them are very sad, and then people are clapping and sometimes screaming or singing along, and it's like overwhelming. And
There's some heavy stuff in your lyrics. I mean, I've been reading them and listening to them, and then I hear you talk about it like lighthearted, and I see people laughing with you, and then I read the lyrics and go like, wow, man, this is actually really some heavy shit. Like, someone please stop me from hurting myself, which you actually sing. And then I go like, maybe somebody needs to help this guy, you know?
Somebody help him. Somebody help him.
Yeah, but you laugh about it, but I mean, it's serious shit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I tend to use songs to say things that I wouldn't necessarily say. Which now, that was all fine and dandy when nobody's hearing the songs, but now that the songs are getting out there, it can feel very like, oh wait, I did say that in a song. And I did, like the 11 blocks. My ex lives 11 blocks away from me. That's real. I drew a map.
I know.
It's on my
Tattooed it on your arm.
It's on my arm. So it's like, sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? But for me, that's the only, just like a show. It's like, I'm up here now.
So great emotions spawn great art.
Yeah, I guess. Thank you. Yeah, but yeah, it's been, for me, that's the only way I know how to do anything is from real experience. Otherwise, I can enjoy all kinds of music, but the stuff that really hits me and resonates with me, it's all the personal shit that's like, oh my gosh, how, come on. And so that's when I create, I just sit there and write whatever the story is.
I checked your Twitter account, which is fun, but what I actually loved was to find the I'll Never Tell Twitter account, which you started. And there's like only 12 people following you, but there's some great stuff on there. Please excuse me while I make it all up in my head.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you.
But why did you start that Twitter account? I mean, it is...
I started it. Thank you. I started I started it for a very specific reason, but then I didn't. And I was like, I'm gonna make it private. I just wanted to be able to tweet stuff because I get stuff in my head, and sometimes I'm like, don't share that because that is directly related to this specific person. And I think the first tweet was, "Can we be more than friends for Halloween?" And it was on Halloween, and I was like, "That's so good," but I can't say that out loud, which I just did into a microphone. But then I was like coming up with other things, and I was like, actually, I want like some people to follow it. So then I shared it, and I made it not private. But it's just
Suddenly it's growing. I mean, there are actually some people
it
following.
was like a couple hundred in a day. I was like, oh my gosh, it was kind of fun.
Well, that happens when you go out to 70 million people with a track.
I guess so. Your personal information will be shared.
Exactly, that's what I think. One what I really loved today is direct mail your crush day, and then deleted account throws phone into the ocean.
Yeah, that sounds accurate. It was like the second day I made the thing, and then I saw trending worldwide DM your crush day. Now I'm sad I wore the jacket because I'm sweating.
Take it off now, come on, feel free. Hey, back to your music. Of course, 11 blocks, fantastic video, already 1.1 million views. You actually co-wrote that song, right?
Which one?
11 blocks?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I just was like thinking about what I've shared on Twitter. Yeah, I co-wrote it with she's now become one of my best friends, Alex Hope. She worked a lot on the Troye Sivan record, and I met her on Twitter. I'm always on Twitter. I love Twitter. But I met her on Twitter because I saw she had worked on the Troye stuff, and Wild was like my favorite song of that year. And I followed her. She followed me. And then I wrote her a thing that was like, oh my gosh, congrats, da-da-da-da. And I DM'd her. I'm like, I'm a huge fan. She's like, I'm a huge fan of yours. And she's like, I'm moving to LA. I emailed my publisher and said, I wasn't signed, and I didn't really I kind of had resigned from being an artist because I was just going a little kooky. So I was writing for other artists and stuff like that and kind of focusing on that. And then I met her, and I was like, we wrote this song, and I was like, oh, that's kind of the beginning of something. Yeah, I was like, okay, fine, this is what I have to do.
So you still write with her, or was this a one-off? Or?
No, we write all the time. We're like texting all the time. Yeah, she's like one of my best friends.
That's cool. Yeah, but I mean, best friends. I also have best friends, but we don't write music.
Yeah, no, we still write together. We'll send each other like in the middle of the night, like a little idea or whatever, and then go to the studio the next day. And yeah, it's been really nice.
Another quote that I loved is when people ask you for your inspiration. You said, "Well, the first record, one of the first I probably got was the Aqualung record, the first one, and you bought it off the sleeve."
Yeah, I bought it. I had no idea what. I went to Barnes and Noble, which is like a really I was gonna say lame. Yeah, to get music, it's a shitty place to get music. It's like not a music store. They have like books and great magazine collection, but like not a music store. And I went there when I was 16 in Houston on Westheimer's right next to a donut shop. And then I was just walking in there and I saw it was like this like guy. He's not bad looking and he's on a beach, like dark, moody, and his like hair's blowing in the wind, playing a piano or something, strange and beautiful. And I was like, okay, I'll buy that. I also bought that day, I think, a Lewis Taylor CD, which I love. He's so good. And I've heard it's so weird. But I bought the Aqualung record, and it was like, I remember putting it on in the parking lot and being like, holy shit.
But is that like the music that made you want to do music yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was the first time I heard something, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. It's so beautiful, so sad, and just so pretty. Like everything, whether it's happy or sad, I think he makes beautiful music, and was inspiring to me.
It must be inspiring to check out your Spotify list now compared to his, because I did. And you are topping his listens now with your stuff. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Somebody's doing something, right?
I guess so.
Spotify thing for you? Because, I mean, let me see what you have. 1.2 million listeners a month.
I did not know that. I didn't know any of this. Now you know. The more you know. The more you know, the more it hurts.
The more cash you get.
Yeah. No, it's been really fun. I did see somebody tag me yesterday because it was Thanksgiving for us. And I was saying, what are you guys thankful for? And they were like, you should be thankful for this. And it was 10 million on 11 blocks, which is so crazy to me to think that
1.2 million a month. And this is not just this month, you know. This is average for like the last couple. Yeah.
My mom is listening to me a lot, I guess.
Finally, she listens to you.
Finally, jeez. She'll come around.
A couple of songs that I found. Of course, 11 blocks. I have a couple of questions about that. Oh, you already answered all them, I saw. Hurts Like Hell, there's a version of that on YouTube. A live version you did in radio station. And Sideways, I found on Spotify. And it occurred to me that in all those songs, you are walking.
I'm walking a lot. I really like to walk. I don't drive.
And there's no public transport in LA, of course.
It's awful. I take the train sometimes if I go downtown, because it's pretty easy. It's basically out like right by Staples Center. But I walk a lot. It's kind of nice to kind of clear my head. Even with traveling here, I'll walk around for like an hour every morning, get a coffee, smoke cigarettes, listen to songs, or don't listen to songs.
Is it a conscious theme, or is it just like an unconscious thing that you write about?
I think it's unconscious. I think it's just because I do it so much. And I tend to get like not a lot of ideas. It sounds like I have all these ideas. I don't have that many ideas. That stresses me out to think about. But it's nice to kind of I feel like I think differently. Somebody told me it's scientific. Like when you're walking, your brain is working in some different way. So I was like, dope. I've been doing that for years. I'm a scientist.
We have to wrap this up. Last questions. When will the record be out? And what holds the near future for you? Touring, playing, maybe festivals?
Record will be out at the beginning of next year, which I'm very excited about. And touring, it's all tentative. Nothing is like sealed down. But I'll do like a little headlining tour in the US, and then I'll be back here in Europe next year sometime. Hopefully sooner than later. I love it out here. Every time we meet with the labels out here, I'm like, I'll move here. And they're like, haha. I'm like, I'll move here. And they're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I'll move here. I love it.
You love it here as in Europe or Amsterdam?
I love Amsterdam in particular. But it's been like so fun to just bop all around.
Even though, I mean, at first when you started traveling, it gave you the shits a bit because you were having to go to customs and you get like sweat attacks.
Yeah, I get held up because they don't know how to answer questions. And I can't lie. And not that I'm lying to customs, but they'll be like, are you working? And I'm like,
Yes, but no.
yeah. Try to explain a 3.5 month long writing trip to customs. You can't do it. I'm like sweating profusely. They're like, where are you staying? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, what's your name? I'm like, who knows? I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm going to go home, I guess. I don't know what's going on. And they're searching all my stuff. I'm not good at it. So now we have like visas and it's all like, yeah.
Hey, it is happening. Thanks so much for your time and fantastic music. Looking forward to the other tracks.
Thank you very much.